Okay, great. So we are officially live for week 2 of our holiday cocktail lives. So I think we'll have one more left after this. So 3 total weeks because we did one for Thanksgiving. But yeah, today we're doing tequila. Last week we did gin. So, we'll see what next week for the last week entails. But today we are going to cover the Grinchmas Margarita. I feel like today's recipe video won't be too long. I mean, margaritas are easy. And if you've been here long enough, we can whip these bad boys up so quickly. One of the main things with the Grinchmas Margarita is it's green. And so I've made one before with Midori, but we all know that I hate Midori. I think that Midori is just kind of a fake flavor that I can't really stand. So instead of doing that to make a green margarita, I thought, why don't we make a fresh green, kind of like a verde mix. So that's kind of what we're doing with our Grinchmas Margarita. We're making it green, but it's super fresh. It's also really easy to batch up. So for today's recipe, I'm going to walk you through how to make the Grinch mix. The Grinch mix. I thought that was clever. And then I actually, on my Instagram feed, I posted a full batch recipe for holiday parties, which is great. I think that should serve about 6 to 8 people. However, I don't need to make another batch today because it is a Wednesday. So I figure you guys have that recipe. I'll talk to it today, but I will make a single serve recipe so then I too can enjoy this. So you guys will have all 3 recipes, the mix, the batched, and the single serve. You can find it on my Substack. I will post it in our Cocktail Club broadcast channel. But yeah, let's cover today's. If anybody has any questions throughout this, let me know. I will try to jump in, stop, and answer them. But let's make our verde mix. I guess our Grinch mix first. So what I did for this is and I've done this before. So when I did this a couple years ago, I just did cucumber juice, but I thought we could level it up this year. And so what I did is I took a cucumber and I kind of just cut it into, I just chopped it up a little bit. It's going to be blended anyway, so you don't need to really chop. I mean, this is how, right? And I'm just throwing this in there. And I am using a smaller blender today, but I think it'll all fit. So about half a cucumber is going to go into my blender. And then from here, also I'm going to turn the music down. Hey Google, can you turn the music down by 1? Also, I'm sorry if anybody has a Google and I just set it off. I have fresh washed cilantro here. Again, you could just use cucumber juice if you don't like all these flavors, but I mean, I think that this makes it so much more exciting, especially if it's in a margarita. So I just took off the top of my cilantro, about a half of my bunch of cilantro. I'm gonna pack that in there. And then I'm only gonna do, because I'm not a spicy gal, I'm only going to do 2 slices of jalapeno and throw that in here. What else could you add in here if you wanted? I feel like you could add a little bit of mint to kind of brighten this up. You could add in celery. You could add in my cocktail book, Pretty Simple Cocktails, I have a green Bloody Maria. And I actually, I roast the chili peppers. And those are really good. So you could do something like that. You could get crazy. Just add green, add your veggies, and then blend. So I have my cucumber, my cilantro, my jalapeno in here because we are making this for the Grinch. And I feel like the Grinch is spicy. So we had to have some spice in there. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this up with water until it covers all of my ingredients. And then I'm just gonna blend this up. And really and truly, I know we're talking about the Grinchmas Margarita and for Christmas, but for almost any cocktail that you make, and you need to make a fresh puree or a fresh juice, this is how easy it is. Add your ingredient, blend it with water and strain, and then you'll have it, and it's super fresh. This will hold in the fridge for about 4 days max without, I feel like, getting gross. So definitely use this up, but this would do really well in the freezer if you want to batch it up now for the holidays. Make your liquid, and then, you can put it into bottles. Ziploc bags is a hack of mine, and save it for the holidays. So I'm going to blend this into my blender. So I apologize in advance for the noise. That feels good. I saw somebody asked what blender this is. This is my Beast blender. I do have it linked, but I can link it after today's class as well. This is their mini one, which I think is so convenient. It's small. It's not as big and bulky as the other one. If you're going to be making big batches of this, I honestly, as much as I love the Beast blender, don't get me wrong, but the KitchenAid, the Vitamix, I think it's just Vitamix. I don't think it's KitchenAid. The Vitamix, that baby can go. So I would recommend investing in that. And then if you like make smoothies all the time, this is great for on the go, but I feel like the Vitamix is the OG. So we are going to strain our Grinch mix, which is so vibrant and green. I absolutely love it, especially if you're trying to make a green festive cocktail, just because it doesn't have festive flavors. I still think the color has you covered, so you're good. So we're gonna let this strain. Tip 2, which I'm sure a lot of you know, but just use the bar spoon and just move everything along, because things get stuck and there's a lot of pulp in here, which is why we strain. And you'll have this mix. So for the batched version, I use a full cup. Now, even this, and I did it even in my smaller blender, this still yielded a 1.5 cups. So you really could have some left over to batch it up, and you'll have some extra left over, or you could pull out that Vitamix and really go to town on like a full cucumber, a full bunch of cilantro, and maybe, half of a jalapeno. So don't be scared to kind of, test the waters depending on how many you're going to make, but get creative with it. Like I was saying, like anything green is fun in here. Be careful with the mint though. You don't want to blend too much because it can bruise and like kind of change the color, but I think you're fine. And I really do. I think mint would actually taste really nice in here. Again, think of this as like a verde mix, right? So I just don't think you can go wrong. Okay. So I'm going to go dump this in the sink, but that's how easy it is. That's why I think today is going to be a very short class today. So, okay, we have our mix. This, again, can last in the fridge about 3 to 4 days, I would say. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to kind of just run through all my ingredients for this cocktail and kind of talk to how you would batch it. So you can use tequila. I'm going to use mezcal. They actually just sent me a Christmas gift with their mezcal, so it was perfect because I'm running low, so I'm going to use this. Another ingredient we're going to be using in today's recipe is optional. And it really is optional because I know it can be hard to find. And so I actually have a hack. If you want the extra heat that this ingredient gives, but you don't have it, or you can't find it, or you don't want to go buy it, I'm talking about the Ancho Reyes Verde Chili Liqueur. This stuff is so fresh tasting. I feel like there's some out there that add a nice sense of heat, but I feel like the Verde Ancho Reyes Chili Liqueur is such a level up. And you don't need a lot. You just want a little back heat, and I feel like this is what this gives. So I recommend putting this in there. Again, this is optional, but our little class hack, if you don't have it, you don't want to go and buy it, but you want added spice, what I would do is one of two things. So when you add in your syrup, I would either make a jalapeno syrup, or if you really wanted to use agave, I would let jalapenos infuse in your agave. That way you are getting that spice, because yes, you have a little bit in the mix, but I feel like this just kind of takes it up a notch. So if you don't want to go do this, I feel like you can spice things up with your syrup, or an even easier, cheaper, faster little tip is just muddle jalapeno in your cocktail shaker before you shake it, or like your favorite spicy pepper. And that's quick and easy. So those are our 2 spirits. And then of course, if you know, you know, Cointreau. We are a Cointreau family over here. This is my favorite orange liqueur. I don't know how I got on this train, but I'm on it, and I would be hard pressed to get off. I just think it is, you know, one of the best out there, and it adds such a nice flavor and sweetness. So, okay, let's shake up our cocktail together. And I'm going to be using our Mackenzie Childs cocktail shaker. I normally, in my gift guides this year, and I want to stress, if you're giving gifts this year for people in your life or yourself who is, I don't know, what's the right word? Like you're trying to be a home bartender, you don't have the right tools yet, aspiring. That's what I'm looking for. If you're an aspiring home bartender and you don't know what to tell your family to get you or get yourself, I don't actually recommend starting out with this shaker. This is like a cobbler shaker. I love the 2818 tin on tin, not glass, tin on tin shaker. There's a local company here in San Diego, a bar above. They're wonderful. They make their cocktail shakers. I will always recommend them because that is a fantastic shaker to start out with. Reason being, and this one doesn't, this is why I like it, but this is also really expensive. A lot of the cobbler shakers will leak. That's just the way of the beast. I mean, they look great, they're easy to use, but they will leak everywhere and they're kind of a pain. Sometimes this doesn't come off with some of the brands. So I always recommend, if you're just starting out and you're being serious about bartending, get the Boston 2818 shaker. Okay, enough about that. Let's add in our ingredients. So one of the things I always recommend is adding your least expensive ingredients first. In our batched recipe that I posted yesterday, I talked to you about a syrup. It was easy. It was just agave. So I have agave here. Agave in the raw, great. However, as I was going through what I call my liquor locker, which is back part of my house, I found that I had this syrup I hadn't opened yet, and it is a fiery ginger syrup. And I thought this could be interesting. Ginger's holiday. It's still, it says fiery, which is actually slightly scary for me. So I'm going to use it. I'm going to try it. We're going to see how it goes. The other thing I forgot to mention is I'm actually going to double this up because Eric is going to take this cocktail with him to softball. So I'm going to double it. And so we're going to get to how to make 2 cocktails, not just 1 margarita. We're making 2. So with that being said, when it comes to adding sugar to our margaritas, whether it's the Grinchmas Margarita or a lot of other margaritas, I personally don't love the sweet, especially because we're adding in Cointreau, which already has sweetness to it. So I always add in a 1/2 ounce of our sugar syrup, whether it's this, whether it's agave. However, people do like sweet margaritas. So know that if it might taste off to you, you might just need to be adding more sugar. It totally just depends on preference. So if you are a sweeter person, you like sweeter margaritas, go with 3/4 of an ounce. I go with a 1/2 ounce. So just know that, and even moving forward, when you see my margaritas, that's kind of where my head's at. Okay, so right off the bat, fiery. Very ginger forward. I think this would be really, really good and fresh in here, and also like so Grinchy and sassy. So we're going to do an ounce because we are doubling this, because normally I would do a 1/2 ounce. So 1/2 ounce is 1 ounce. We're then going to add in, I guess I should start, I'll do the lime. So then we're going to do 1.5 ounces of fresh squeezed lime juice. And this is where I didn't work out today, but I will get my arm workout today by squeezing fresh lime. And I will say, having fresh citrus in any cocktail, but specifically a margarita, is a must if you can. I mean, another really good gift idea for those margarita lovers out there. The Smeg, or an electric juicer. There's like one on Amazon that's actually not super expensive and it works great. I still have it to this day. The Smeg's just like a cute girl. But the Smeg juicer should definitely be on your list if you always make cocktails and you don't have one. It's a game changer. If I'm making 1 or 2, I don't pull it out. But when I'm batching things, especially for Christmas, That's a Christmas gift that, like, whomever is gifting it to you, if you're hosting Christmas, they should give it to you on Christmas Eve. You know what I mean? Ginger syrup. So yeah, we're using, normally in the recipe, and I'll write both down, but in the normal recipe that I had from yesterday, I used agave, but I found this fiery ginger syrup. So we're going to use it. We're going to try it out. I think it'll be really good though. I smelled it and it smells like very ginger spice. And I think that's where the fiery, I don't think it's like actually spicy. I think that it's just ginger spicy. Okay. 1.5 ounces of lime juice. Cause again, we're making 2 of these, which means we're then going to do 1.5 ounces of Cointreau. My magic sauce for my margaritas is I do the same amount of lime juice and Cointreau. There are certain recipes where I may actually pump up the lime juice, but good rule of thumb, if you're ever wondering, is I always go the most tequila, equal parts lime and Cointreau, and a splash of syrup. That's kind of like how I remember. And then you can add in whatever juice or something that you might be using. But that's kind of how I remember. So 1.5 ounces of Cointreau, or any orange liqueur. I mean, you don't have to get this. But I do like it. And I feel like the Cointreau is a lighter orange liqueur, but Grand Marnier is also great. It just has more of those cognac, deeper flavors, which honestly could be good in here. So if you have Grand Marnier, do it. Okay. The other thing I'm going to add in is 1 ounce of our Ancho Reyes Verde chili liqueur. Okay. Now, again, if you don't have this, I kind of talked to how you can either A, omit it completely, or B, add it in different ways, because this is going to add in like a subtle heat. So that, and honestly, like I just poured it in, you could smell it. It's like it's not a front of the mouth spice. It's definitely a back of the mouth spice. So if you haven't, honestly, another good gift, have somebody get you a juicer and like Ancho Reyes Verde chili liqueur and pretty simple cocktails. That would be great. Because I have a whole margarita chapter. Okay, anyway, it's not about me. This is about the margarita. So we are then going to add in 2 full ounces of our Grinch mix, which again, we made at the beginning of today's live. If you missed it, you just jumped on. It's going to be on my Substack tomorrow morning. 2 full ounces. Yes, okay, sorry, I got scared because I forgot I was doubling it for a second. But we'll do 2 ounces because normally I would do 1 ounce of the Grinch mix. Okay, lastly is our mezcal. This is why I would be a terrible bartender for people, like actually in person, because I take forever. And then I lose my train of thought. Okay. And I'm adding, Eric, is mezcal okay for you, or would you rather tequila?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, 1.5 ounces. I'm gonna do a split base. I'm gonna do 1.5 ounces of mezcal, and I'm actually gonna do 1.5 ounces of tequila. Just because there's a lot of flavors going on, it might be a lot, especially if he's going to play like softball, so that might be a little aggressive. So 1.5 ounces of tequila. All right, everything's in there. So for those who just jumped on, I just saw that comment, we're making the Grinchmas Margarita. I just doubled it. We made our Grinch mix. And if you feel late to the party, that's okay. This whole live will be shared again on our Cocktail Club broadcast channel and on our Substack. All 3 recipes. I'll actually post the 4 recipes because I have the single serve margarita written. So I'll do that, the double, and then the pitcher, and then the Grinch mix. Okay, I'm going to grab my ice. Which, of course, I try to be like proactive and put this in a cup beforehand, but kind of awkward. Okay. And then I will prep out, I'll prep this guy out too. Sorry, hand ice, I know, but we're making cocktails at home, it's fine. He lives here, you know what I mean? Okay. So we have our ice prepped and ready in our cup. It's kind of tidy over here. I feel like I'm always so messy and chaotic, so sorry about that. Okay, so Grinchmas Margarita. I made this for 2, and now we're gonna shake. I will continue to tell you guys this, but you will know it's ready when it's too cold to hold. But about 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 20 seconds. Again, the reason why we shake cocktails, especially with citrus, is you want dilution and chilling and aeration in your cocktail. All right, that feels pretty darn cold to me. I did see a question though come in about my Substack. Substack is like my newsletter. So it's honestly, I feel like Instagram is very curated, but the people who really want to like take a deeper dive, it's all on there so that I just don't like bombard you with a bunch of nerdy cocktail stuff all the time. So my Substack's Join Jules. It's where I post all of these. So you get the full recipes. They're written out. You could even print it out if you want to make these at home. So, okay, here we go. Moment of truth for our Grinchy Margarita, which this is so fun. It's perfectly green, and we have to garnish. Don't worry, I'm saving that for him. We have to garnish. So I kind of have a whole like medley here. Medley? I don't think that's the right word, but you know what I mean. I have a whole thing here. It's been washed, all of that. My mint, I don't know if it has held up great. Actually, it did. I love garnishing this with mint because I feel like, again, I said this earlier when we were making the mix, you got a lot of spice in here, and this is such a nice, refreshing herb compared to the rosemary's great, thyme's great, but I just feel like you really get this. So I always recommend this first, and then we smack the mint. We smack the mint gently because you are expressing those oils. So those oils, the scent's coming out. And then a trick is just kind of put it around the lip of the glass. And then Caitlin Stewart from Likeable Cocktails told Brad and I in our podcast that we have, if you go up and down the glass, and usually it's like a stem, but if you go up and down the glass, when you pick it up, you'll smell mint on your hands. I mean, granted, I just smacked on my hands, so I'm kind of biased. But you get like just an even more well-rounded experience. So, okay, here we have a Grinch, but no Grinch would be completed without a heart. So I say that you must garnish each drink, whether you're making the batched or the single. You should garnish it with a cocktail cherry, which is so fun, so festive, and so Grinchy. I like the Luxardos. I know they're a deeper red, but you can get like this bright neon, but I don't like to eat those. Luxardo cherries, I will like eat these. They're like candy. They're so good. Okay. So then you just put the Grinch's heart right there, because when you drink this margarita, your heart will grow 2 sizes too large. Okay? So there you have the Grinchmas Margarita. Again, we batched this yesterday on my feed, so that's on my Instagram. You can go there. Today we doubled it, so I have the other one right here. So I would have just put that in another glass. But let me taste this first. You know what's interesting? No, okay. So at first, I was going to say, you don't get the ginger as much as I would have thought. However, you get it in the back, but you get a meld of the ginger syrup with the verde chili liqueur. It's very good. It's very interesting. And honestly, I know it's a margarita, but it almost doesn't taste like it. Oh, this is good. I mean, it's literally like you're having a green juice with tequila in it. And I will say, I liked that I did a split base with this because there's so many flavors going on that I feel like sometimes the mezcal would almost take over in a way. So I liked that we switched this up. Worth it to switch. Switch what? I don't quite understand. I feel like I should, but that's my fault. Were there any other questions that... Yes. So the Luxardos do taste different than the cheaper ones. They're in this like own recipe of syrup flavor. I mean, trust me, they're all like, they're good, but they're not. Like you can make your own, but They put something in the Luxardos, I swear, that are just like unbelievable. I'm trying to see. I know that there's some cocktail cherries that they actually put it in booze. I don't remember, but this is my favorite. The neon bright red ones, I can't stand. There's no flavor to that. I don't like them. Like, even if I were to have a Shirley Temple, like, put a dozen of these in there. You know what I mean? Okay. Yeah, bourbon soaked Luxardos. I feel like I made them before. Okay, so miss the batch. You did not miss the batch. I talked to the batch just because what am I going to do with the batch? You know what I mean? So, we made the batch yesterday on my feed. However, I talked to it today, but the full recipe I'm going to post on our broadcast channel, on the Joy and Jules Cocktail Club broadcast channel. And then, it'll also be on my Substack at Joy and Jules. So it'll all be there. This will also, I will repost this tomorrow morning. So look out for those recipes tomorrow morning, but it's super easy. And pretty much what I was saying, no matter what, when you make the Verde mix, you don't make the Grinch mix. You don't make a small amount just because you could, but there's no reason to if you're going out and getting these ingredients. So no matter what, you're going to have enough for a batch. And that's pretty much the main thing you need here. That's the hardest thing. I'm not even telling you guys to make a syrup this time. So you know what I mean? Yes. So I will link the Beast blender, which is what I used today. I'll also link my Smeg juicer that I think is a chef's kiss, the best gift. But I'll also do the cheaper one on Amazon because I know that one is it is. It's just not as aesthetic. So I'll post all three of those. And then somebody asked for the sweater, which is perfectly Grinchy. I actually got it from Yellow the Label. So I bought it online. I think they're an Australian brand. But yes. Is there anything else I'm trying to... Oh, sugar or salt on the rim? I don't do either. I don't think it needs it. You can do a little salt. But I think that there's so many good flavors going on here that I almost don't want the salt to change the flavor of my drink. You could. I would recommend doing half of the rim. That way you can opt to or opt not. But yeah. Also, I know this is so giving Wicked, which I have not stopped listening to the playlist, I do have to say. And it's actually slightly concerning. However, if you're going to Wicked or you're celebrating Christmas or the holidays, this is perfect. This is our Grinchmas Margarita. I'll post everything, but I'm going to stay on for another minute or two if there are any other questions. But that's it. It was kind of an easy one today. We're going to have one more class live for the holidays. I'm going to do one more. Make sure to join the Instagram broadcast channel because we all vote on it. And I actually had somebody ask me if I'm going to be doing the other recipes. It's a really good question. I feel like now I have to because I too agree. I am slightly bummed that some of the recipes aren't being chosen because I like some of the other ones, but I love them all, so it's hard for me to... So yes, I will be recreating those cocktails for sure that you guys didn't opt for. Okay. If there's any other questions, let me know. You guys can always message me. The ingredients will be on my Substack and the broadcast channel tomorrow. But if you want it right now so you can sprint to your kitchen and make this, I did the batched version on my feed yesterday. And that has all the ingredients, everything that you need. But today's version, we talked about how to make the Grinch mix. We talked about how to make the Grinch Margarita for two. And then in that, I will also be posting tomorrow those two written, a single serve written recipe and also the batched written recipe. So you guys have that. Somebody asked what bitters I would recommend to start out with. There is an amazing bitter company out of Minnesota. It's called Dash Fire. If you're going to start your bitter journey, please go look them up. And they have an insane amount of bitters. So I think they have, obviously they have their, aromatic, orange, which if you don't have those, get those first. But they even have walnut bitters, tobacco bitters, cacao bitters. Dash Fire Bitters is the company. They're wonderful. If you're getting into bitters, definitely check them out. And you can put that on your Christmas list. It's a great stocking stuffer. So I know that a lot of my friends are getting cocktail things because it's really fun. Okay, So I feel like I'm rambling now and I've answered some of your questions. But again, if you have any more, always message me, reach out, send me an email, all the things. I'm around and I want to help you guys this holiday season. So cheers to everybody's Grinchmas Margarita. And I will see you all next week. Oh, yeah. Okay, last thing. Ginger syrup. We used the Liber & Co. Fiery ginger syrup, which was so good. Like, kind of a game changer for this recipe. I will also link this on my stories and on my Substack. I'll link everything. Okay, so that's it. I'm jumping off now, otherwise I won't stop. So cheers, everybody. Hope you guys have a great week, holiday celebration, and I will see you next week. All right, bye, guys.